businessmen Moses and Mike Chimombe have been found guilty of fraud in connection with a multi-million-dollar government contract to supply goats under the presidential Goat Pass-On scheme. The verdict was delivered today at the High Court following a trial that examined allegations of forged documents and massive under-delivery against a substantial advance payment. The court heard evidence detailing how the scheme, intended to uplift rural communities, became embroiled in controversy after the contract was awarded to Blackdeck Livestock and Poultry Farming in late 2021. The prosecution's case: forgery, deception, and undelivered goats. The state's case, presented through witnesses including former Ministry of Agriculture Permanent Secretary John Becerra, alleged that the accused acted in common purpose to defraud the government. Key points included: forged documents. The bid submitted by Blackdeck allegedly contained counterfeit ZIMRA tax clearance and NSSA compliance certificates. Witnesses from both ZIMRA and NSSA testified that the certificates were not authentic. The ZIMRA certificate's details matched one issued to a different company, Skywalk Investments, while the NSSA certificate referenced a company, Blackdeck Private Limited, that had been deregistered from their system in 2016. The court found these witnesses credible. Company status. Evidence suggested Blackdeck Livestock and Poultry Farming was an unregistered entity, used as a trading name for the registered Blackdeck Private Limited. While trade names were permissible, the court noted the failure to comply with registration requirements introduced in 2020, although acknowledged this wasn't legally required when Blackdeck Private Ltd was formed in 2015. Ministry officials testified they understood they were dealing with Blackdeck Private Limited, despite the different names used. Misrepresentation and prejudice. The state argued that by submitting the bid with invalid documents, the accused misrepresented the company's eligibility and capacity. This deception induced the ministry, after approvals from the Procurement Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, PRAZ, to award the tender, valued at approximately $87 million, and subsequently pay an advance equivalent to a $7.7 million. Failure to deliver. Despite the substantial advance payment, a government verification exercise found only 3,388 goats against a claim by Blackdeck of having mobilized 32,500. This represented a shortfall of nearly 90%. The state argued this constituted significant prejudice to the government. Accused involvement. John Becerra and other ministry officials testified that both Mpofu, identified as operations manager, and Chimombe actively participated in meetings, negotiations including price reductions, and decision-making concerning the contract. Chimombe was described as taking a leading role. The defense denials and legal arguments. Both accused pleaded not guilty. Moses Mpofu, first accused, argued he acted solely in his capacity as a director of Blackdeck Private Limited and could not be held personally liable for the company's actions without the state piercing the corporate veil. He claimed the submission of documents, including the contested certificates, was handled by a different department or outsourced consultant, and he believed them to be genuine. He stated the matter was a contractual dispute, not a criminal one, and blamed the contract cancellation on pricing disagreements and alleged black market forex dealings reported by the RBZ rather than non-delivery. He closed his case without calling witnesses he had previously indicated would testify, including the consultant allegedly responsible for the documents. Mike Chimombe, second accused, distanced himself entirely from Blackdeck and the bid submission. He claimed his only involvement was attending one meeting post-award in his capacity as chairperson of the Economic Empowerment Group, EEG, at Mpofu's invitation to help resolve a potential dispute. Although none materialized, he asserted that his own company, Militech Enterprises, had unsuccessfully bid for the same tender and was later subcontracted by Blackdeck. He argued the state failed to link him personally to any misrepresentation. The verdict: directors held personally liable. In delivering the judgment, the court found the state witnesses credible and their evidence largely unshaken. During cross-examination, the judge rejected the defense arguments, highlighting several contradictions. Mpofu's claim he couldn't be held personally liable was undermined by his own defense, outline which admitted acting in a representative capacity for the company involved. Chimombe's explanation for his presence at ministry meetings was deemed unconvincing and contradicted by multiple state witnesses who testified to his active decision-making role alongside Mpofu. His claim about representing EEG was inconsistent with the meeting's purpose, pre-verification exercise. The judge noted inconsistencies between Mpofu's and Chimombe's accounts regarding Chimombe's alleged mandate. Crucially, the court addressed the argument regarding corporate personality. Citing Section 237 of the Criminal Law Code, the judge stated that where a corporate body commits a crime, the conduct is deemed to be that of every director or employee responsible, unless they can prove they took no part. The judge found that piercing the corporate veil, a concept primarily from civil law, was not a prerequisite for establishing criminal liability for directors under the code. Both accused were found to be directors, Mpofu explicitly, Chimombe as a de facto director based on his control and actions, who failed to demonstrate they took no part in the criminal conduct. The court concluded that all elements of fraud were proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Misrepresentation, through the submission of counterfeit, ZIMRA and NSSA certificates and later false claims about the number of goats mobilized. Prejudice, both potential, awarding a contract based on falsehoods, and actual payment made against minimal delivery, failure of the scheme. Intention, inferred from the deliberate use of false documents and misrepresentations regarding progress to secure the contract and induce payment. Both Moses Mpofu and Mike Chimombe were consequently found guilty as charged. The case highlights significant issues surrounding public procurement